My life mostly is amazing, but 3 months ago, my 4-year-old son and his mom decided to kick the bucket. Okay. And a car accident took my love of my life away, not his mom. I'm gay. And my daughter survived, and she's fine. And anyway, so
what happened?
So I'm trying to deal with, 'cause I feel him inside me all the time, and I'm trying to cope with that version of him as opposed to watching him grow into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm just having a hard time with that, although I can be happy most of the time. But just, I miss him a lot. And I didn't even want him initially. He just inspired me to have him, and it happened so easily. And he came to my life, and it was the biggest thing. And then he just went away. And I feel him like I feel him right now. I felt him earlier. I know he's the one who got me picked. I've been coming here for 8 years, and I've only been picked once. And I just don't. I know it was his trajectory and his life, but it's hard not to have a sense of connection with him and say, why did you leave me?
Well, if there was ever a conversation that would get fast to the heart of the subject of unconditional love, if there were ever a condition that is hard to take, it would be a condition like this. You agree? So there's no way, oh, we love this question so much. There's no way of answering a question with the depth and power and intensity that this question has in any other way. Humans cannot make sense of death, especially death of children. You just can't do it. It's a condition that is so outside of anything you ever want that it twists your brain into a knot. It makes you willing to forfeit everything that you've ever believed about goodness in the world. Usually, when a condition that appalling occurs. But when you have a basis of understanding the eternalness that you are, now we know under these conditions, if you are thinking from your human perspective, blah 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 blah, nothing is more irritating than to have somebody who doesn't care about a body. That would be us, talking about the eternal nature of your consciousness. And yet that is what this is all about, the eternal nature of who we all are. So if happiness, which is what everyone wants, depends upon being able to hold circumstances in the order that you have defined them, then there really cannot ever be happiness among the human population. You just can't ever be happy. There are too many moving parts. There are too many things you can't control. So then you say, well, we don't need to control everything, Abraham. Just the big things. Just things like keeping our children safe. Just things like being able to watch them grow up. Is that too much to ask? Aren't there some conditions that we can be assured of? If you say we create our own reality, what's the point of creating our own reality if it isn't to contour conditions into a more pleasing state of being? And we say, the other day, because Esther's been thinking a lot about this unconditional love stuff, Esther was sitting after a few weeks of focusing with us, thinking about it, caring about the way she feels, talking herself into feeling good no matter what was going on. And one day she's sitting in Texas overlooking the pool and the gardens, and she found herself in a rapturous state of appreciation. It was heightened. And she was looking at some sculptures that are truly amazing. They are cranes, and the man that created them is world-renowned, and they look like two cranes standing there dipping into the water. They are beautiful, beautiful pieces. And Esther was looking at them just in amazement at their contour and their realness. And then she looked at the pool, it's a zero-edge pool, and it drops off an infinity edge into a water garden and takes your breath away. It is so beautiful, the sound of it too. And then the bird in the tree, and then the trees. And as Esther's looking at this stuff, she is feeling better than she's ever felt, ever, heightened, joyful appreciation. And then she said, aha, Abraham. These are conditions. I'm focused on conditions, and these conditions are making me very happy. It's a beautiful pool and beautiful birds and beautiful trees and beautiful other birds and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These are conditions. What's all this business about unconditional love? These conditions are thrilling me. And we said, Esther, you were at that vibrational pitch before you even noticed these conditions, and that's the difference. The difference is finding the alignment and then, rather than needing the condition to create the feeling. So when you say why, you had an agreement. You had an agreement that you would come together, know one another, love one another, and figure out what unconditional love really is, what love without condition is. And so, as we were saying earlier, we know this may not feel like a very satisfying answer to you, to any of you now, but if you can hear what we said just a little bit ago, we said the manifestations are, for the most part, they should not be and they don't need to be, but humans use manifestations as conditions to support emotions. And that's what goes wrong with you, because when you use conditions to support good feeling emotions, now you are bound. Now you are not free, because you cannot control the conditions that you feel you need to support the emotions. But when you are able to show yourself, and if there was ever a difficult time, this would be it. In other words, we always say to our friends, start with things that are easier. But here you are, you walked right into this, you're blindsided by it. It's something that happened, it's something that you cannot help but observe, and of course it's bringing emotions forth from you. But it is our promise to you that your dearly departed, as you are already acknowledging you're receiving so much help from, will help you to discover that you can be in a state of alignment with all that you are, without needing to control the physical outcomes of anything. And once you get that, now here's the part that's a little tricky for you to hear. So we're going to say it, and then we're going to say it, and then we're going to say it, because we want you to get this. When you are able to find alignment unconditionally, and we'll show you how to do it, then your alignment generates conditions that are pleasing. But feel the trap in that, because in the moment your motive is to change the condition so that you can feel better. Now you're twirled up in it in a backwards way. So Abraham, did I hear you right? If I love unconditionally, now instead of using the word unconditional love for a minute, let's use some other words that mean the same thing. Unconditional clarity, unconditional fun, unconditional ease, unconditional alignment. Love, appreciation, alignment, ease, clarity, yes, unconditional alignment. So once you find this unconditional alignment, then things that are in your vortex move into your reality where you can realize them. But until you find it, then they can't. And so can you feel the trap that so many of you put yourselves in, where if that condition, so Esther has been writing, she's filled 2 notebooks up in the last 2 days with this understanding. So something will happen, or she will become aware of something that is a condition that she does not like as it stands. So she'll write, condition that I need to change. She's really sticking it to herself a little bit. A condition that I need to change so that I will feel better. Now she knows the flaw in that reasoning. In other words, she's just leading herself to an epiphany, and it's working every time. The condition that I need to change so that I can feel better. Well, a condition like this, you can't change. That's a condition you can't change. That's not something that's going to change. Jerry made his transition. That's a condition that is not going to change. That condition, I want this person here playing with me the way we used to play together. That's a condition that won't change. So when you say, I need this condition to change before I can feel better, feel the trap in that. So, but that's the way Esther's writing it. What is the condition that I require a change? And then she's writing, because I want that condition to change so that I can feel. And then she's been writing a series of emotions that she will feel. And then she says, using all of her logic that she's gathered as she's picked up along this trail with us, the 8 years you've been listening are going to serve you really well. She says, well, I can find these emotions. I cannot change that condition, but I can find these emotions. So then she just sits and writes the words, the emotional words, until she feels the shift take place. And every single time she feels the shift take place. And then, you know what happens? Then Jerry's right there, thinking in her head, moving to the music, enjoying something that she's eating, basking in the beauty of the pool. Undeniable, you see. You have to show it to yourself. You're already having those experiences.
I have him with me, and he's with me now. I mean, I feel him more than normal people do. I mean, he buzzes inside of me for 30 minutes on.
What Esther is willing to say now that she wasn't willing to say for a couple of years is, I like this new relationship. And for a while, it felt like she was more aware of where Jerry wasn't. And then she couldn't find him. But once she started feeling him like you're feeling, then, and started focusing on where he is, then that lack of him evaporated. Because when you think about it, we know we're not getting very far with you. We can feel, because you don't want these kinds of conditions to happen in your experience. We get it. We don't blame you. We don't want those conditions to happen in your experience either. But what we do want is for you to find alignment. And when you do, the conditions will become irrelevant. Right now, you don't believe that. Right now, it feels to you that there are some conditions that are just intolerable. There are some conditions that I'm never going to be down with, Abraham. I'm never going to agree that I can live with that. And the universe isn't testing you, but you were born to be free. You were born to feel good regardless of the conditions. And look at how wadded up you are as a human race. You need those people to be different and those people to be different, and they're not being different, so we'll build a big fence. And they're not being different, so now we'll guard the fence. And they're not being different, and we don't want them to come over here, so we'll put up a bigger fence. And we don't like what they're doing over there, so we'll just drop some bombs on them, and we'll just threaten them, and we'll just wrestle them to the ground, and we'll just kill them, because there are all these conditions that we need to change so that we can live happily ever after. And how happily ever after are you living in all of that, pushing against all of that other stuff? You got no choice if you want to live happily ever after, other than to come in alignment with who you are. And when you come into alignment with who you are, the conditions become irrelevant to your alignment, and then in your alignment, the conditions blossom to your pleasing. That's how it works.
Does my son leaving have anything to do with me?
You know, Esther has a friend who says, when Jerry didn't leave, when Jerry didn't leave, Esther just loves that, because he didn't leave. He didn't leave. He became more present. He became more an integral part of her life. You should see the way he edits from inside of her. They can edit on the computer screen now. She doesn't have to print stuff out for him. In other words, he's such a cheap date. She doesn't have to buy that airline ticket for him anymore. He's always there, always available, always up for fun, always there.
Yeah, but his sister is having a hard time with it.
Yeah.
His other mom is having a hard time with it.
Yeah, we know.
But did we attract this? Did his little sister attract this? Did his mom attract it? How do we?
Because from your non-physical perspective, when that trajectory was set into motion, you all knew your invincibility, and you didn't feel conditionally vulnerable to anything.
Okay, I
You,
get that.
you understand how flexible and fluid you are, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Yeah, we'll go, we'll have fun, then I'll take off, you'll miss me, but you'll figure something really important out. Okay, let's go.
Okay.